In this video, I'm going to react to the 10 easiest countries for Americans to immigrate to. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. This is the place where I react to music, media, sports, anime, anything related to popular culture. I'll watch it with an open mind and give you my 100% honest reaction to it. And if you could please hit that like button early, I'd really appreciate it. Now, this is going to be really interesting because obviously America, being the country that it is, so financially prosperous, you know, so huge, so varied, you know, it's definitely one of the most, if not the most sought after country for people to relocate to begin a new life. So it made me wonder, you know, what countries, you know, should the American want to move and start a new life somewhere would be the easiest places to go. I'm sure that there's probably, you know, quite a few places in Europe maybe that would welcome Americans, probably a lot of Asian countries, maybe countries that are, you know, emerging, trying to boost their financial power. Like if they can bring in, you know, quality migrants from America that are qualified in some way, they'll add value. So yeah, I was just wondering, you know, what kind of countries would welcome Americans with open arms. So when I was recommended this video, I had to put it near the top of my list because I knew that it was going to pretty much answer the question that I've got. So let's go. This is going to be me reacting to the 10 easiest countries for Americans to immigrate to. Let's do it.
What is going on, everyone? I thought we'd start winding down our Where Americans Are Migrating to Outside the United States series. Today's video is about the countries that are the easiest to immigrate to. Whatever country you have decided to immigrate and acquire any sort of citizenship, there are going to be hurdles to overcome, and there's always going to be strings attached. There's always strings attached and red tape and bureaucracy and all that nonsense. One thing I have learned while doing all this research is most countries love American retirees, and that's because you are adding money to the economy without needing a job that might otherwise go to one of the locals. So you're just strengthening their economy. So how'd I figure out which countries are the easiest to immigrate to? It was easy. I called a relative who works on the legal side of immigration. She hooked me up with the information I needed. So yeah, this one was kind of easy on my brain. Let's see what we got. Number 10, Panama. Now, I lived in Panama while I was in the military, and I loved it. It's a beautiful country, and it's extremely cheap to live, especially back then. I remember someone telling me back then as a young corporal in the Army, which you don't make much, but apparently I was making more a month than the average Panamanian man was making in a year. So that was nice. Wow. So it had an extremely low cost of living back then, and it really hasn't had any major jumps in the last 25 years or so. Spanish is the main language here, but English is widely used in Panama as well, so that's one hurdle you don't have to get over in most cases. You and your valid American passport allow you to visit Panama without a visa for 180 days. If you want to stay longer, you got to go talk to the immigration authorities. Now, I'm going to give you a lot of numbers and timetables on this video, and keep in mind, a lot of these countries change.
I love the architecture here, you know, really nice modern looking apartment blocks here, and the views, you know, in these upper levels will be amazing of that, you know, the beaches and the shore, the bodies of water, the mountains there. Really
change
nice.
Their restrictions and their policies on a regular basis. So don't give me a hard time if 3 months from now something changed. Plus we're in the middle of COVID-19, so God knows what's going to happen 60 days from now. Anyway, to get residency, you need a job or deposit $5,000 in a Panamanian bank. If you're opening up a company, they have other rules about what it's worth and how many people you could possibly employ. You become eligible for citizenship after 5 years of permanent residence. Like I said about the retirees, Panama offers retiree visas for those having a minimum pension of $1,000 a month. So if you're on Social Security and not making that much, they probably just won't give you a free pass. This visa also gives you discounts on movie theaters, restaurants, hotels, healthcare, and medication. Sort of like a Visa/AARP card. No dual citizenships in Panama, so you got to give up that U.S. citizenship to become a Panamanian citizen. Number 9, Belize. Belize is often an overlooked center.
So both South American countries.
Central American country. It's really not even a Central American country, even though it's in Central America. It used to be known as British Honduras, and it is actually a Caribbean country located on the northeastern coast of Central America. Belize is bordered on the northwest by Mexico and on the east by the Caribbean Sea, and then to the southwest you have Guatemala. I think it's overlooked because it's really one of the least developed countries in Central America. The entire country has less than 500,000 residents, and its biggest city has only around 50,000 residents. More people on a normal Sunday watch the Jets lose in person. Yeah, 50,000 people. Belize is sparsely populated, and the cost of living is very low, as well as the real estate's pretty low too. The official native language in Belize is English, so that's good for you Americans who don't want to learn another language. There's an old joke that says, what do you call someone that speaks two languages? Bilingual. What do you call someone that speaks one language? You call them American. Yeah, we're just not too big on learning other people's languages for some reason. I don't know if it's arrogance or laziness. Anyway, if you're into environmental causes, rainforests, scuba diving, and nice beaches, I'm sure this place is already on your radar. U.S. citizens can enter the country with a visa.
Wow, like look at that. If your room is here and you've got a nice floor-to-ceiling window, this view is just going to be amazing. Just forestry, probably maybe some maybe animal life there too. Hopefully no, lions or tigers or anything. But yeah, really nice.
For 1 month. But to stay longer, a visa extension has to be requested every single month. If you live here for 50 consecutive weeks, you're entitled to apply for a permanent residence. Holding permanent residency status for a minimum of 5 years will make you eligible for citizenship. Citizenship applications are usually decided upon within 6 months. In order to get your actual Belize citizenship, you gotta give up the old citizenship. Number 8, Ecuador.
Wow.
Now, we've talked about Ecuador in previous videos.
Goodness me, this looks really condensed. Very condensed.
It's a great place to live. It's a lot like Belize when it comes to the natural environment. The countryside is amazing. The big cities, not so much. Go to Google Street View and see if you could find any residence with ground floor windows that don't have bars on them. I tried for over an hour. I found one. I'm not even joking. Ecuador is one of the fastest when it comes to getting naturalization. By residency, I mean worldwide, not just in Central America. And it's affordable to actually buy your way in. They have great healthcare, low taxes, and a low violent crime rate overall. I guess the criminals just take your junk, not your life, in Ecuador. You could stay for 90 days with just a passport, and after that, you gotta kind of fill out some paperwork. U.S. citizens, including entrepreneurs and retirees, have to apply for a temporary residence visa. 21 months after obtaining temporary residence, you may file an application for permanent residence. Once you have completed 3 years of legal temporary permanent residence stuff, you can apply for naturalization, and if you do get it, you gotta give up your U.S. citizenship.
It's weird. So why do they seek you? Why do they want you to give up your US citizenship? Is it just so that there's no threat of you taking yourself and your money, your resources back to the US, or is it something in particular, some kind of legal implication of having two citizenships? Because I don't see why. What benefit is it to them that you surrender your US citizenship? I don't really understand
or
that.
Wherever you came from, Canada, whatever. That's part of the Ecuadorian law. Number 7, Denmark. And switching to Europe, we have the Kingdom of Denmark.
Denmark, beautiful country. Beautiful.
This is a Nordic country in Northern Europe. Denmark is the southernmost country of all the Scandinavian countries. This is one that doesn't have a low cost of living. It actually is one of the higher countries on this list. It's actually one of the higher countries in the world. U.S. citizens get visa-free entry for Denmark for no more than 3 months. That's it. 3 months and you gotta head back to where you came from unless you want to apply for citizenship. There's a few different ways to gain citizenship in Denmark, the longest being 9 years. But it's worth the effort. To settle here, you will have to apply as a student, a worker, or a spouse of a Danish citizen. So it just takes a lot of time, but there's not a lot of extra hurdles to go through. They do have another thing called the Golden Investors Visa, which if you've invested over 100,000 euros in a company that's in Denmark, they kind of speed things along. You don't really have to work. Your money just has to be there. That can also take up to 9 years, but I heard that one gets pushed along pretty quick. Denmark does allow dual nationality, so that's different.
Nice.
Number 6.
Finally, a reasonable country.
Brazil. Everybody knows Brazil, one of the biggest countries in the world. It is a beautiful country with amazing beaches and attractive people. Stay in the tourist areas if you value your life. They have some really great places to live and visit, but they also have some places that you should avoid going to. Actually, avoid being anywhere near them, like 20-mile radius.
Wow.
But they do have a solid economy and healthcare is free. Sure, you pay for it in taxes, but you don't need to avoid going to the doctor because you can't afford a deductible or something like that. If you just want to move there and get a job, that can take a while. It can take up to 15 years to become an actual citizen. You know, you got to fill out some paperwork. It's not terribly hard, and they're not actively looking for people to throw out of the country. You just got to be there 15 years and you'll become a citizen. But the process will be easy if you're an investor, a professional, professor, or a skilled worker. For acquiring citizenship, you must live there for like 15 years uninterrupted. But this can actually be shortened to 4 years if you have a well-paying job and you speak Portuguese. Yeah, so you can actually drop it down to 4.
Oh man, look at this. Like having an apartment or, you know, any kind of property here, just your quid's in, man. That'd be amazing.
Years if you could speak Portuguese. So yeah, that's something. The quickest way to obtaining residency or citizenship is by marrying a Brazilian citizen or investing $126,000 in any local company. Retirees may apply for a permanent visa under the Retirement Residence Transfer Program. That can be done in a couple months. Dual citizenship is allowed in Brazil.
Nice.
Number 5, Mexico. The cost of living is why people move to Mexico. The beaches, food, and rainforests are why they stay. Sure, they have areas that are controlled by cartels. They should probably be avoided, but if you're looking to save some money, maybe
Probably.
it's worth it. Sort of like Black Friday at Target. Mexico maintains a low cost of living, a good quality of life, and excellent health care. Also has the best tacos. Mexico allows U.S. citizens a visa-free entry for 180 days for tourism purposes. But if you want to go all in with Mexico, you need to apply for a temporary residence visa with permission to work, eventually leading you to permanent residency. To apply for citizenship, you must have lived there for at least 5 years uninterrupted and as a permanent resident, or must have family ties. You will also be required to take a test on Mexican history and culture, or you'll be interviewed, they say, if you're over 60. So if you're over 60, they don't want you to learn anything about Mexican history. They'll just ask you some questions to make sure you're not insane. If you marry a Mexican, the conditions of legal residency will drop down to 2 years. Mexican law does not restrict dual citizenship, so you can stay an American too. I have a friend that's lived in Mexico for years, and he said all those numbers can be pushed aside if you grease the right palm. I guess that's true with a lot of the third world countries, really.
To be honest, not just third world countries. Bribery can get you far anywhere.
4, New Zealand. New Zealand is beautiful and you have to have some coin to live there. If you look at New Zealand from a statistical point of view, they are killing it. The only knock on this country is the cost of living. Their big cities are very expensive. The rural places, obviously like any other country, aren't as expensive, but yeah, Auckland is one of the most expensive cities in the world right now. U.S. citizens may reside and work in New Zealand for an indefinite period of time as a permanent resident on a skilled migrant visa, and that's available to you if you've got some skills they need. You may also choose from the investment visas where you can invest at least 3 million New Zealand dollars and they'll let you stay. I mean, if you're putting
That's what about, I think it's about maybe 1.5 million US dollars, about 1.2 million pounds. So it's not cheap.
$3 million into the country, they should let you stay. New Zealand doesn't care how many citizenships you actually have. You can have 5, they don't care. Number 3, Ireland. Even though a lot of my DNA
Beautiful country.
comes from Ireland, I have never found it very appealing. I don't know why. A lot of people love the place. It's right up my alley too. It's wet, green, and beautiful. I don't know why I have no desire to go there. Anyway, Ireland does have a lot to offer, from a stellar quality of life, a good healthcare system, solid education system, picturesque outdoors, and great beer. Acquiring Irish
and Guinness.
Citizenship has its challenges, but it's a short amount of wait time. Pathways include citizenship by descent, by marriage, or by the naturalization process. You can become a naturalized citizen by living in Ireland for 1 year. That's it, just 1 year. To go all the way to citizenship, you have to live here for at least 4 years in total out of 8. You know, you can do 1 year, go to the US for 6 months, come back for another year, you know, things like that. You just have to be there half of the time out of 8 years. You can enter visa free, but to stay after 90 days, you gotta pick from one of the different visa programs they have. They have several to choose from. You just choose the one that suits your situation the best. And once you're in there on a visa, you just have to keep your nose clean for that year, and then you become the naturalized citizen after you apply. And my understanding,
seems really reasonable, to be fair, like more so than a lot of the other options discussed.
this is just rumor, that it's pretty easy. If you don't get in trouble, they pretty much give it to you. Ireland does not require you to relinquish your US citizenship. Number 2, Sweden. We all know about Sweden. It's a great country. It's considered one of the happiest countries in the world with one of the highest quality of life, along with one of the best work balances on the planet. With a valid...
Yeah, I hear that, you know, like 4-day weeks are just, you know, commonplace there. You know, just everything is just like, in terms of employment and things like that, they're just years ahead of everyone else.
Passport, U.S. citizens are allowed to stay in Sweden for up to 90 days, but if you plan on working, learning, or starting a business, you'll need to get a permit for that. To be able to apply for citizenship, you must have lived in Sweden for 5 years uninterrupted with no...
Oh, look at this. This is lovely. Just... Oh, I don't know why I've not been to Sweden yet. I need to go. It's not really cheap as well for me to get to from London.
Criminal convictions. This is another one. If you keep your nose clean, I wouldn't say guarantee citizenship, but you've got a really good chance. You just got to keep your nose clean. Don't get into trouble. Just keep in mind that once you've crossed into Sweden, you will have to deal with a high cost of living and some pretty steep taxes. They also have a golden investor visa, another one of these countries, that if you have 100,000 euros invested in a local company, you get to stay, and it's easier to secure your citizenship. My opinion, Sweden's one of the best ones on this list. They've got really good stats. Sure, the cost of living and the taxes are high, but this is a great country to live in. Everything else is outstanding about this country. And stop typing. I'm sorry you had a bad experience in Sweden, and you got some bone to pick with some guy named Sven. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you already haven't. Be a part of our community. Help us get over the 500,000 hump and on to 1 million. All right, on to number 1. And
I was tempted there to skip.
Number 1, Canada. The first thing that makes Canada so attractive to Americans is it's the next country over and it doesn't have cartels. I mean, that's the top of everyone's list.
Oh, look at this skyline. Incredible.
Canada is a very politically and economically sound country. It's almost like the entire country is this no-drama zone. The cost of living and taxes are a bit higher than the US, but you get to see a doctor and a pharmacist without going into debt. Canada offers more than 60...
I love this guy.
Immigration programs to choose from, including one called Express Entry Program, meant to attract skilled workers the country might be short on. Other ways of becoming a Canuck include having a job in Canada, having a sponsored letter from a family member, or 125,000 Canadian dollars invested in a Canadian company. You can also start or buy a business. They're very strict when it comes to the rules about their immigration, including you have to live there 3 out of 5 years to even apply for citizenship. You will be required to show that you can meet your tax filing obligations and prove that you speak English. They'll also make you take a test showing that you understand the rights and responsibilities of a Canadian citizen. And they have no problem with you keeping dual citizenship.
Nice.
All right, that's today's video. Hope you...
That was super interesting. Like, some really, really stellar options on that list, I have to say. For me, the 3 that I would consider, like, would be Denmark, Sweden, and Canada. Like, maybe... The thing is, I've never been to Mexico or, to be honest, any of the Central American or Southern American countries mentioned. But just in terms of what I'm used to, it seems that those 3 countries that I've mentioned would offer the closest kind of life experience and just experiences. But yeah, they seemed, especially Canada, no, maybe not Canada. I feel like Denmark was probably the most straightforward. Oh, Ireland too. I forgot Ireland was on this list. Ireland would be another place that I'd consider. Really chill place. But yeah, really stellar options you guys have there. Like, if any of you are looking to, you know, make a move at some point in your life, yeah, you guys have got some really, really great options. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, and keep throwing the recommendations my way. I know I say it all the time, but they genuinely help me out, because if I know you enjoyed watching something, I'll definitely enjoy reacting to it. So like, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, keep throwing the recommendations, and I'll catch you in the next one.